Hello, this is Sheshatalam from Astrogat Mysore. Today, continuing the subject of Sun and Saturn combination, because this is a huge subject, it will take hours together to explain one combination of this level, that is Sun and Saturn. It's a tough combination anyway. So that's why I have finished part 1, going into part 2. It might go to part 3 also, we don't know. Let's check. So I have made some few points here. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, which actually should be elaborated to understand what actually the person goes through, a native goes through when there is a close conjunction of Sun and Saturn, where Saturn is not combust. So Saturn combustion I have already done the video, which I will be actually attaching in the end for the viewers. But Sun and Saturn combination where Saturn is not combust, that is what we will discuss today. Just a minute. So, coming back to this chapter. Sun is a bold, confident, self-made, a person who follows routine, aggressive, alert, always, knows about his surroundings, very conscious. I forgot that particular thing, conscious. I usually keep telling that. And it represents the soul of the person. So, these people can solve problems through social ethics and justice, and they punish without mercy when they are the people who can come to that particular level where, like judges, like people who can have authority to give punishments. Anyway, nowadays it's a very different story. Very active, they love social work, particularly politics, self-centered, egoistic. It represents the head, the skull, the bone, government service, politics, Ayurveda, so many other things. I have, the big list, it's a very big list. Heat, foundry, etc. So, I've just given you a small concept of what is Sun. Now, the equally concept of Saturn. Saturn represents old age, like Sun represents birth into Janma. Sun actually represents Janma. Saturn represents old age, sorrow, weakness, burden. These things should simply keep coming out, because years together you will understand what actually Saturn does to a person. It wears out that person's attitude. There was an attitude, it's like a shirt which you keep wearing the shirt, it becomes old and then it becomes, very fabric will start losing its strength and it will get torn. And if you're still keeping that same shirt, if you keep wearing the same shirt, you will be called a tramp. So, the same person who was looking like a military officer looks like a tramp if the same shirt is worn for several years. So the point is simple. Saturn means it starts accumulating age on everything. So, as I said, once again I'll repeat that: old age, sorrow, pain, weakness, chronicity, chronic problems. They have fixed rules. Hard work is the only way they have to solve problems, or hard work is the only way they have to earn money. Back-bending labor, restless, continuous work. There is no time limit. They are very sober. They seldom involved into, they seldom involved into others' issues. They solve problems through their past experiences. Understand, this is Saturn. The punishment is severe and it is a chronic one. They don't punish in a like Sun. Sun is different. He goes for harsh, immediate punishments. Saturn is like you will go through. We know you will go through. So the pain will be very, very continuous and severe. So Saturn punishes a person. That's why people don't want to go through the Saturn Dasha because they don't like corrections. Nobody likes corrections. If anybody corrects you, that is the time when you get angry, right? So the same way, makes corrections. That's what I earlier also was telling. No, it's a tinkering process where the metal is hit, beaten, and then it's brought to shape. Chronic pain like living alone. So two partners are there. One partner's death happens, the other partner will have to live alone, doesn't want to mix with anybody else because the love what the other partner gave was great. So in the remembrance, they would want to live alone. So that pain and all this sorrow, loneliness, these things, and also even most of the cases who have gone through divorce is when people go through Jupiter Saturn or Rahu Saturn. Rahu Jupiter, Rahu Saturn, Jupiter Saturn, these are very tough planetary combinations and dasha bhuktis when people will actually take harsh or tough decisions on themselves. So lethargic and wants to do service, selfless, all this is all the good things are also there, right? So it represents the backbone, the spinal cord, the low back, the neck, factory, manufacturing work, hard work, dark, dust, dirty, paints, oils, spills, iron, foundry, steel, rust, junk, all this comes to Saturn. Now, only this much. The other page I will not touch now. Anyway, it's empty to write. I will have to write it down. So now this I will merge to make you understand. A confident person, when he has been given fixed rules and he is made to do hard work, backbending work, he will never shy to do it. He will prepare himself to do the hard work. So people always believe that the Saturn Sun Saturn combination is bad. I don't think so, because if Saturn is not composed, let's say Saturn is about 10 to 12 degrees from Sun. It's a beautiful placement. If for certain ascendants, particularly for the Aquarius ascendant, Sun becomes the seventh lord and Saturn becomes the ascendant lord, Lagnadipati. And when they are sitting in the 10th house in the sign of in the sign of Scorpio for Aquarius ascendant, Saturn loses that strength but will retain some, and Sun increases in strength many folds. And this gives an extreme focus towards industrialization, towards profession, towards success. So very strong yoga of Kendra, one being the Trikona, I can even take it as a Raja Yoga. So very strong Raja Yoga. So I have seen many charts. You should not take that any combination like Sun Saturn, it's hopelessly bad. No, nothing like that. So people who can become cardiac specialists, people who can do open heart surgeries, people who can go into orthopedic for the bone, transplantations, total bone replacements, hip joint replacements. These are all people with Sun, Saturn, which are strong in their chart. So hard work, backbending work. Yes, the surgeon who has to work in the surgery on over the patient in the OT, operation theater, it's a backbending work. It's a tough work. He is replacing the hip joint. It takes hours together. It doesn't happen in minutes. So he has to do his job, a skillful job. A lot of experience comes into hand, and this person will be doing it with a lot of dedication. That is what is Sun. So Saturn and Sun together makes a person a very hard working, focused personality. Very less aggression, very less ego, because Saturn, no, Saturn will have hit the ego down. Aggression, yes, it will have hit it down because the experience is now mixing up with Sun. Sun is an inexperienced but knowledgeable person. Saturn is an experienced, knowledgeable person. Now, this is old age. He knows when to plant, when to grow, when to reap, when to beat, when to, do all the work which is done by hand, do it yourself concept. All this is very strong in Saturn. Sun is, I'm ready to learn, I'm ready to jump around, I'm ready to do this, ready to do that. Full spirit, a lot of ego, self individuality. So that when it merges, the person will lose the individuality but retain the experience, and this person looks a humble, selfless, and service oriented person in the society. So, this, if it is placed in the sixth house, this is the most strongest combination for Sun and Saturn to be placed. Sixth house in any chart. Depending on the lordships of that particular, for that particular chart, the Lagna, the results have to be pronounced, but still, sixth house, Sun, Saturn, super combination. The same way, so Upachayasthana, that's why I took the 10th, that's why I am taking the sixth house. The third house, the sixth house, the 10th house, and the 11th house, these are the four houses which are the strongest houses for Sun and Saturn put together. So, but it should not be combust. If it is combust, it will lose strength, that's all. It will not do that bad. It will still be giving you the strength, but still it should not be combust. So, Sun will solve problems through social ethics and justice through the book. Saturn will solve through problems through experiences, the requirement of the society on that particular day. It will not be rigid because it will be relaxed. It is flexible. Saturn, though, has fixed rules with regard to how to maintain social morality, it will have that relaxation with regard to how to pronounce a judgment for social benefit. Sun is not like that. It is like, if it is in the book, if it is in the rule book, simply follow it and do it. So that when it is mixed up, these people can become very good problem solving people. They can give very good justice. They can do a wonderful job as preachers, teachers, judges, magistrates, and all these people who actually give out knowledge and intelligence to others. So, Sun is very active, now Saturn is lethargic. So, what actually happens in this period? See, people keep calling me, telling me that my son has this in the fifth house, in the fourth house, he doesn't study, he's, I don't know, but he's passing exams. The problem here is, if there is a concept, I'll just finish this and then complete. The problem here is, suddenly the person becomes active for continuous few hours or days, he finishes a particular chapter, he studies it, and then suddenly he becomes sober, he does not want to even touch the book. So this keeps happening, the shift between being very active, very strong with regard to routine, and then suddenly going back to that lethargic period. You people might have seen this happen in your own life. That is because of other combinations also, but this combination also gives that. Suddenly buying shoes, your wind cheaters, putting on a track, telling them from tomorrow I am taking a great resolve, a strong resolve. I am going for my jogging, walking, cycling, swimming, everything. I am going to become very fit. 3 days, you are very strong into it. And then from the fourth day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday comes, you enjoy with your friends, your whole resolve is broken. And again, Monday comes, you'll be crying, you'll be telling that I did a mistake, I regret all these things, I should have gone for my walk. Again, you go. So these things keep happening in everybody's life, particularly with Sun and Saturn combination in the third house, Sun and Saturn combination in the seventh house. People go through a lot of difficulties in married life. I will not come to that now. I will come to that later on. professions, married life. It's a detailed chapter. But on a overall way of talking, I keep telling this because you need to go into the details of each planet when you merge them with each other. It's a little tough thing. Sun is self-centered. He is the king. First, he will protect his chair. The king. He sits. He protects his chair. Saturn is not like that. He is selfless. He does not have a chair at all. He does not have a place to sit. He has lost his identity fully. He is something like a person who is there everywhere for everybody, but will not try to showcase anything. Sun is not like that. He would want to be, everywhere, but with the highlight that he wants to showcase that he is there. He is doing it. All those names, felicitations, garlandings, bouquets. He wants to be in the limelight because he is the king. Saturn is not like that. He is like that. I am also one of the laborers here. I will also do the work. So, when Sun and Saturn mix up in this beautiful combination, Saturn gains a respectable position. Sun becomes humble and gains humility. See, humility and respectable position mixed together. This is a beautiful combination. That's why I'm not talking negative about it much, because I know that now Sun and Saturn are in such a distance like 10 to 15 degrees from each other. So it's a fantastic combination. Lot of mutual exchanges of good things happen here. Bad things also happen, but anyway. The head, the skull, the bone, that is Sun. Backbone, neck, spine, low back. All these places in Sun Saturn combination in a bad placement like the 12th house, which is extremely tough. People go through a lot of hardships with regard to injuries, with regard to fractures, with regard to chronic pain in the spine, which will not give them good sleep, skull pain that happens in migraines, low back pains because of the prolapse of the L1, L2, L3, L4. So these things can happen. So, people go through fractures and they will have to put those steel rods. All these engineering work happens there with nut, bolt, screws, and all those things. This also is seen from Sun, Saturn. This is not a good combination to be in the 8th house, because Saturn represents Ayu. Sun, there, a fast moving planet, will spoil this combination a little bit by continuously giving some difficulties like accidents. It's not life threatening because Saturn is there a little far away from Sun, but still it feels like you get the fear, something is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. You need to understand that this is the placement which gives that fear. Sun is good in Ayurveda, Saturn is good in agriculture. So mud, Saturn wants to be in that, he wants to do it, and Sun has the knowledge and the spirit to do it. Then this particular combination, you can grow beautifully medicinal plants, you can grow the roots, you can grow the leaves, you can grow the flowers, which are all used for medicine. Excellent combination for particularly, I am telling you, all those medicines which are grown in dry area with roots, root medicines. This is very good. Ashwagandha or many other root medicines. Ashwagandha is actually a stalk, it's a herb. So I am just telling you, I am giving you an example, all those medicines which are grown in hot, arid, dry zones. Aloe vera, one of the best medicines which can be grown. So these are all medicines. Medicinal plants can be grown by these people. They are good at it. They are good in agriculture. Okay. So they can also grow fruits and fruit plants which are all stuck to the ground. Creepers like watermelons and many other fruit plants. So Sun loves government service, Saturn loves hard, long work. So They can work into government factories, manufacturing places like the railways, like the aeronautical, for factories, the manufacturing units, assembly points, all these places, they are very good at it. Sun represents fuel, sun represents heat generation, and Saturn represents oil and steel. So, heat, oil, steel factories. Just mix it up. Where all you get these tick marks, those places, these people can work or own them also. So, I think for today, I think this much is enough. I will go ahead. There are a lot of other topics which have to be covered. I will do it one by one. Thank you very much for today's class.